Sorry, I was on mute there. I was just waiting for everyone to join, and no one's here, which is unfortunate, but hello and welcome to our class today. We're going to be talking about negotiating a contract, which is something that's very important when you're looking for a full-time, long-term job. Okay, so I have some notes for us to look at, and so hopefully today will be very helpful. So let's get into this right now. So I need to share my screen with you. Just 1 second. I'm finally getting the hang of all of this, negotiating the contract. And there we go. Wonderful. So now that you can see this, again, we're just talking about negotiating a contract. But before you actually get to the interview and you see your contract and everything, what you need to do is really think about what's important, for your job. What's the most important thing? Is it the hours? Is it the salary? Is it, whatever, vacation time? So think about this before you actually get to the contract part of the interview or once you've been accepted, okay? So again, before reading your contract, mentally list your top 3 items in order of importance. And so here I have some examples that we can see. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Let's see. Hi, Ken.
Yeah.
How are you?
The problem happened again, and the blank problem, and also Ellie has a problem of class link. So if you can copy and paste the link, this class link in Google Hangout calendar, maybe she can come.
I actually don't know how to do that, Ken, unfortunately.
Okay.
That's something Thomas would do.
Show the link. Because Thomas said, I left a message. Thomas said, you can copy and paste the link here before if this problem happens.
In this group?
Yeah,
this is the link.
This link, because the problem is we cannot open the this class link from the Intenga site, even if we click the enter.
Today I actually had put it in about an hour ago, and I left the Hangout open without the video and without the sound because I had a different class to do. And then I was waiting, and 5 minutes after I realized that since no one was here, I went back to check in the Intenga back information that it hadn't saved or something. So at 5 after is when everyone was officially able
now
to get in.
Now it could be maybe okay. She can't.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, we're still getting this down. Like I said, I did it like an hour ago. I know I did. I saved it, and then for some reason it didn't save. So that was partially my fault, even though I don't know how. I don't know what I did wrong. But so you haven't missed much. I just started. I just said that we're talking about negotiating the contract today. Ken, if you have any questions about the Google Plus, those are Thomas questions. I'm just doing the class. I don't know how to do anything else, so you'll have to work.
Yeah, kind of Thomas. What happened? Thomas make a link. Sorry, make a link in Google Hangout, Google Plus, like this, like I linked, and you can leave the class link if the class link change happened. That's what I meant. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll talk to Thomas and see if I'm able to do that because it's under their business account too, and I don't have the password or anything, so that's why Thomas is so involved. It's not my account.
Yeah.
So
I left a message here like this before, and Thomas replied, Rebecca can leave the club link here. Yeah,
Okay.
he says so.
All right, well, I'll have to talk to him about that then. So wonderful. Alex, nice to see you today, and Elle as well. So I'll get back into class. So basically, like I said, you haven't missed much. We're just talking about negotiating a contract. And the first thing, before you actually get to the contract part, you should think of the 3 items, the 3 most important things for you with the contract. Okay? So we can talk about base salary. Is it what you get paid is the important part? Um, is it the compensation? Do you think it's competitive enough? Okay, so there's lots of things to think about there. The equity grants, is it one time or annual? So you have to think about that as well. The option buyout, are you walking away from the money in the money options that aren't invested? Annual incentive, should a portion be guaranteed for the first year? Vacation time, how much do you need? How much do you want? Then there's the retirement benefits, okay, is being able to defer compensation or contribute to a supplemental executive retirement plan important. So, are you preparing for your retirement? Restrictive clauses, if they say you can't go on vacation from this date to this date, are you willing to accept that or other things? Is it reasonable in your mind? Severance. Okay, severance can happen if you get fired. Severance packages happen maybe if you get hurt or something. And so how much is it? What happens under which situation? Okay. And then relocation, if you have to move, do you need a fixed amount grossed up for taxes? Are you taking a loss on your house? So you have to think about a lot of different things. For me, honestly, I think the top 2 would be the base salary and vacation time, maybe the annual incentive. But, always think about the first couple that are the most important to you. If you have to relocate, are you willing to move? I remember kids my age in school having to move to different states because their dad or mother got a job somewhere else, and it was sad. So moving really affects not just you, but your entire family, their friends, everything. So it's a big decision to make. So that's just something you need to think about. Okay. Any questions here? This is kind of background information. This isn't really the most important part of today. So again, these are just things to think about before your contract. But actually getting to the contract is the most important part. So the first tip is communicate verbally, okay? You need to show it through expression, through gestures. You need to talk about the things. You don't want to just sign the contract and say, hey, thanks, goodbye. You need to work things out. So maybe if you see something, you say, hey, well, I'm not sure, it's really like this. Maybe I'm misinterpreting this. Maybe I don't understand fully. How can you understand this better? Or if you have any questions, you always need to make sure that you understand what you're signing. The next tip says provide options. So for example, maybe you aren't happy with something. Maybe you don't like the fact that you get your annual incentive in June. You want it in December for the holidays. You have to think about other options. And so you can't just say, no, this is not what I want it like this. Well, maybe they won't be very happy about that. So then you need to talk to the employer and say, hey, let's work this out. Can I get my incentive this month or something like that? So you need to be able to provide options. This also means that you're willing to work with them and you're a team player. You really want to work with them and solve everything in order for the relationship to last, so you're there long term, you're happy, because no one wants to work in a job that they don't like. Okay? So for these two, do any of you have any questions? I suppose you can read as well. Otherwise, I'll be talking all class today.
I have. Is this less about how to be success among the work?
Yes, when you're signing your contract for a job, these are just some ideas to think about, things to do when you're talking about your contract for a long-term job.
Okay, interesting.
Good. Okay. Any other questions before we continue? If you're really looking for a long-term job, 30, 40 years down the road, depends how long you want to work. It's really important that you're satisfied with your job and you're satisfied with the rules that they have and the rules that you have to follow. Because again, that could be a very long 20, 30, 40 years. And you just want to make sure that you're happy. And of course, your job should, if it's a good job, they should want you to be happy as well. So you do stay, so you don't, look for other opportunities.
Rebecca, in my opinion,
Mhm.
the most people is not satisfied with the job.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes, I understand that completely. And so, this is for the really serious long-term people, I would say. It's still good if it's just temporary. I mean, sure, maybe the job's perfect. You think this is what you want to do forever. However, after, 6 months, a year, you realize, you know what, this isn't really exactly what I want. So you have to be able to be flexible in that area too. Is it the company that you don't like? And I just read
And
something. Yes?
and besides, I think most people does not like to work. Do you agree?
Yes. However, at least in the United States, it's very normal to, go to school, get a job, and that's your career. That's where you will work until you retire. Um, So, like I said, in the United States, it's like that. Here in Spain, people change jobs, people go from one company to the next. So it's not so stable, I would say. However, I would hope most people would like to have a job and steady income. Um, so these are just ideas, like I said, for a long-term contract. Do you have
But
another question?
I like to work. I like my profession. I'm very look about this.
You're very lucky. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good. Well, then
Uh,
that's fantastic. Yeah. And that's actually perfect. I am too. I'm very happy. I love teaching English. There's lots of different ways that I teach English. Obviously, this is one of the many ways. And, I'm always looking to change too. I don't think I would want to sign a contract for the next, 15 years. Ooh, not even 5 years. So, I need that change to keep me interested so I can learn something different. With this job, I've learned how to use Google Hangouts for the most part. There's still things I need to work on. But changing positions, changing companies isn't bad. It can be a good thing for many reasons. But these are just ideas to help you kind of be comfortable with your job. I know here in Spain you're not able to say anything about your payment. They pay you what they pay you. So, it is different for every country, unfortunately. But, when I think business, obviously this is for a German company. And also from the United States, it's very, very normal, for this in this situation now. Again, here in Spain, it's not so normal, but that's okay. Let me see. Why don't Ken, since you're the first one, Ken, you're always the first one. Why don't you
Okay,
read part 3, the revisit your priorities? Let me just move this for you a little bit. Just, yeah, read
okay.
till there.
Revisit your priorities. Keep your three items in mind. Then you will know what you are willing to negotiate and what you must have. You can always change other items in order to have your top three priorities.
Exactly. And this is also going back to, what's important to you and how can you solve these problems that you might not be very happy about or excited, or maybe it's different than you thought. Ken, did you have any questions? You sometimes have
Yes,
questions.
about sentence. Keep you three items in mind. If I say in my mind, in your mind, is it strange?
If I put your here,
Yes.
no,
Okay. Then
but
same.
without is more, I would say, neutral.
Mm,
Obviously, you know that it corresponds to you, that it's talking to you and to everybody else, but it's not giving it a person,
mm,
a
maybe
subject.
if I add your, it's more personal and specific. You specific
Right,
person.
it's more
Okay.
direct. I mean, and again, if
Mm,
I change, keep the three items in mind, that's even more neutral. It's not even using a pronoun at that point then. So,
I
I mean,
see.
you can say it quite differently, and that's perfectly fine.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, so let's see here. We'll move down a little bit. It's not very long, but it's the next part. So, Alex, why don't you go ahead and read 4?
Think before reacting. Always ask for time to consider the proposed changes, review the suggestions, and discuss the terms with a trusted advisor.
Perfect. So basically, take your time. Do not decide in the moment what you want to do, what your job is. Take your time. You don't want to, say, "Oh, hey, this looks great." Sign the papers and then think, "Hey, I never asked about, something." That happens to me in interviews. So,
Uh, let me be clear about this. This is about when I'm assigned a contract. This last.
correct. Yes.
Okay, but here in Brazil, we not do this. We just we need a job. We just sign the contract and we work. You know.
Right. Well, and this does depend on the job. For example, me teaching English, I would never, I mean, my contract, sure, I'd sign it. But this is for more professional people, I would say, more for maybe if it's doctors, more professional, dentists and people who,
Okay. Who receive a higher salary, for example.
exactly.
Okay.
Like I said, this is something very long term. It's something you will be basically you're choosing this job for the rest of your life until something else comes up or you don't want to anymore. Um, and so that's one of the differences between this type of contract and a contract that I don't want to say normal, but someone with an average job would have. Like I said, for my job here in Spain, they gave me my contract and said, "Here, this is what's happening. Sign."
This is relative because uh, we are facing a crisis here in Brazil. We we choose to assign or not when we have other opportunities,
Mhm.
or when we see other opportunities or the doors open. And I think
Mhm.
that we this situation right now, no one here would choose.
Right. Well, and the same here in Spain. There's basically they tell you what you're going to get paid. You don't get paid nearly what they say the hourly wage is. Um, so there's a lot of the crisis here in Spain is still occurring as well. We're not out of it yet. So there is a lot of corruption with the job market here. They might not give you a contract, which leads to other problems. In the United States, if I was a waitress somewhere, I would not have a contract. Here in Spain, I would have a contract. And so also it depends on your profession, what you're doing, how long term this is, your country. So there's a lot of different factors in here as well. Um, but this is more for the professionals in a stable economy, I would say.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're absolutely right to ask too. Again, this might not apply to other people, maybe in India, for example, or were you? No, that was someone else. Medina was from Egypt. She was here the other day.
I'm sure that in China it would not apply as well.
Right, again, yeah. So it depends. Ken, I'm going to ask you. You interest me in your country. Interests me. Ken, is this something that you would do in Japan before you start a job,
And
a professional job?
you mean what should I care?
No, signing a contract. If you're looking to be a doctor or a lawyer and you're going to start working with a company, would you
Mhm.
sign a contract like this?
Yes, usually even though the part-time job, sometimes it is required.
Okay, good. Yeah, I suppose when I was working at a restaurant in the United States, I also did have to sign a contract. But it's a temporary job. It's not a forever job. It's a little
Mhm.
bit different. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
it's just those technicalities.
maybe temporary part-time job, but sometimes it is required, but sometimes
hmm
it's not. But most of a kind of permanent job, maybe to get permanent status contract is necessary, in my impression.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect. Well, thank you. And Elle, where were you from again? I don't remember.
Oh, originally from Thailand, but I live in US.
Oh, yes, that's true. So this does apply to you. And are you working in the US right now?
No, I'm planning to. Today I have appointment with I'm gonna go to the college to get to study something in order to get a job, and then I have appointment with the advisor. They're gonna tell me
Okay,
what should I go, yeah.
great. Well, that sounds good. So, are you taking notes hopefully
Yeah,
today?
that's why I try to get into this class because I just got back from my country, Thailand. I
hmm
I didn't speak English for a month when I came here, came back, but and my husband he's Thai. We speak Thai mostly, and then I try to
hmm
practice, and then I can talk to the person this afternoon.
Okay, absolutely. Yes, I understand how that goes. Here in Spain, I speak a lot of Spanish and then I forget my English sometimes.
Oh, can you
So,
speak? Uh, are you originally from US or are you?
yes.
Oh, okay. But you can speak Spanish, right?
Yes, I've been living in Spain for almost 5 years now, and my Spanish is
Oh,
pretty good. So,
awesome.
hmm great. And hello, Chinyu. Nice to see you today as well.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Good. So we're talking about negotiating the contract today. So we're in the next part here. Elle, I believe it was your turn. So why don't you read 5 for us, and then
Okay,
Chinyu can read the next one.
sure, okay. Communicate professionally. Keep the lines of communication open. Stay positive, polite, and friendly. Be willing to listen.
Good. So again, be professional. This is for, a good job. It's hopefully for a long time. And you really need to be professional in this situation, okay? Um, and that's basically it, but you also need to be able to listen, be open to what they might be offering and things like that. So you need to just, if you're going to say something, say it nicely. And, if again, it is a professional situation, so you do need to act professionally as well. So hopefully that one's pretty straightforward. That one's pretty clear. But always stay positive and again be friendly. Again, if it's someone that you don't really know very well, you're not going to be mean to them. So moving down here, Chin Yu, it looks like it's your turn. Would you like to read this one, number 6? right, hold on. Let me just unmute you here. Would you like to read this one, Chinny?
Number 6. Remember
Yes.
your exit strategy. You can always walk away. If it turns out this isn't the right job, don't be afraid. You may be disappointed, but don't feel forced into accepting terms that cause a culture misalignment to job
Miss.
unhappiness. You don't want to regret your decision 6 months down the road.
Perfect. All right, Chinny, any questions?
This word misalignment. What is it? What
Uh-huh.
it is?
Misalignment is when it doesn't match up, it doesn't go with what you want, okay? So, for example, again, you can always walk away. You do not have to sign that contract, okay? It's not something you have to do. So, always remember that. If it's a cultural misalignment, maybe you're Muslim and you have to pray 5 times a day, and they say you can't do that. Well, that's not good. Or you want Christmas off because you're Christian, or you want Sundays off, or something like that. So it depends on your religion, maybe, or cultural, maybe,
Okay.
things like that. Alignment, misalignment just means that it doesn't work for the situation. Alignment, for example, for vehicles, for cars, is when you go to the mechanic and they have to align your wheels and make sure that they're all the same with pressure, and they're all full and things like that. So alignment is making sure that things are maybe even or straight. Okay, so miss obviously makes it the opposite. Or job unhappiness. So they're similar, similar but not exactly the same.
Okay, thanks.
Not a problem. All right, any questions before we continue? I think there's another little part over here. Oh, no, there's not. So this is the last one. I thought there was 7. So, no. Any questions with signing a contract here? I mean, we can go over other things. Maybe I will move this up, well, actually, to here, I think would be good, so that Chinyu can read these that he didn't see before. But any other questions? Do you have any experience maybe signing a contract? Did you sign a contract and later regret? Any experiences like this?
Not similar, but by reading and listening these tips, I've learned a lot, because I I have made mistakes in my job, because my supervisor or my chef, for example, have ordered me to do something, and I say some negative things about that, So, like, I refuse sometimes to do something. I say that it's not a good idea, but I have to think more when I do such things.
And especially in Brazil, I mean, I know the situation here in Spain, like I said, if you're offered a job and you didn't have one, of course you're going to take it. But they don't give you any rights. And it's a terrible situation here in Spain. And it's really difficult to think, we're in Europe and everything should be fine, but it's not. And, people take advantage, and I'm sure it's the same in Brazil. They don't pay very well, and so you don't have any rights, to work. And so it's really terrible. But what do? I mean, you need a job because you have to eat. Maybe you have a family. I have cats that need to eat. So, there's lots of different factors here, and it's really sad that You can't just say, hey, this is what I want for my job and this is what I'm going to do. Fortunately, I kind of have that. So I'm actually really, really lucky. But so that's basically it. You know, this is just to make sure that when you do have a real, I like to call them grown-up jobs, which I don't think I'll ever have, something that's serious and it's your 9 to 5, we say in the United States, something that's definitely permanent. You know, this is where you see yourself. You want to grow at the company. This is when you would use these tips more so. Okay. So any other questions, any other parts that you would like to go over or discuss?
Yes, I've experienced when I applied to the part-time job in a factory, and they required me to sign the contract uh, about compensation if the accident happened. So that's the bread factory. So maybe not so heavy kind of stuff there, but since it is a factory or you know, if that happened, who compensated? I was worried about that. And I checked the website briefly now, and actually it's illegal, I think. Even though, I don't know, maybe it's a big company. If they claim, if I signed that contract, maybe I cannot be would not be compensated, even though the law require the all workers, including part-timers, have to be paid, have to be compensated if the accident happened in the company or factory. So I was thinking about that now.
Yeah, and workers' comp is something that's important as well. So that's one of the things that you'd want to look at before you sign your contract. Especially in a factory. Granted, a bread factory might not be very dangerous in general. You never know. There's still probably forklifts and big machinery and things can happen. Maybe you just fall and cut yourself on something and you don't have a finger anymore, for example. That's when, you know, this stuff is important. Especially with bread. I mean, bread, you have to mix things and, you know, there has to be, to produce a lot of bread, it's going to be big machinery, and so that's going to be easier to have accidents in smaller machinery. But from what I understand, at least in the United States, when you get workers' comp, that's what we call it, workers' compensation. When you're hurt on the job, I believe, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe they take the average hours that you worked in the past, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks, or a month, or 6 months. They take the average and then they pay you that, and the company actually has to pay for it. It's not the government or anything like that. It's the actual company, and so I think that's why some businesses take things very seriously, have a lot of rules and regulations, so they don't have to pay workers that are hurt, that got hurt on the job. I know. Plus, the safety for the employees is something that's also very important. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Not a problem. I've never been on workers' comp, so that's good. But yeah, it's a good question too. I mean, working, let's say, in a business, in a firm as a lawyer or something like that, you're gonna walk in the building, and basically that's it. You know, you maybe get an elevator or something. But they actually say if you are leaving your house, going to your job, you should be covered if you get into maybe an accident or something like that. It's not just, you know, if you're physically at work. They say once you leave your house, at least in the United States, in other countries, I'm not sure, but you're technically, you know, going to the job. So there's, I'm sure, a fine line there within the rules and regulations, the workers' comp, but good. Any other questions? These are really good questions. No? One
So
thing
in my
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
In my understanding, maybe in the United States, company, how can I say, pay for the kind of insurance for compensation, and the cost would be from that insurance, company-based insurance.
Yes, I
Okay,
know.
I got it.
Yeah, I think all companies have to have insurance. So that insurance should cover, let's say if you do cut off your finger, for example, they would
Mm,
pay, that the company's insurance would pay for your hospital stuff. If you have to stay overnight, how serious it is, maybe it's stitches, maybe it's surgery, something like that. Maybe you broke your arm and you have to get a cast. So that insurance should cover it, as far as I'm concerned, and that's part of your contract as well.
mhm. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, not a problem. And then as far as the company paying you, I'm not sure if that comes out of pocket or maybe if they're covered under their insurance with that. I don't know. I think that would depend on every company. But really good. Really good questions. Well, hopefully you've had enough time to read all this again. This was just things to think about before you sign your contract. But those are things that we're talking about now too. So maybe I'll stop sharing my screen if you can see me and not just the paper all the time. We'll do a little bit of both here today. It's warm here today, so no sleeves. So that's nice. Any other questions?
Yes, I have. Before we go, I forgot to ask you about that option buyout. What it is?
Ah,
Do you remember?
let me. Yeah,
You
let me get
close.
this back. Option. Yeah, I did. Let me get back to this now. Go to the contract. That's when I want to share. You're talking about option buyout. Are you walking away from in the money options that aren't vested? This is more. There's like 401ks that you have to worry about. So there's lots of other options in how you get paid. Or if it goes towards retirement, or if it goes into a specific fund or something. So there's things that I don't even know about that exist. And so if you quit your job, are you losing that money that you earned technically? So let's say, for example, in my 401k, which is what people in the United States use to retire, every paycheck they put, let's say, 1 or 2% of your paycheck into that account. Plus, the company can also add, let's say, half of whatever that is, or they, double it. They can do that too. So they're putting money into that account as well. And so it will help you in the long run. It's not money that you would get now, but that can happen as well. And so you want to make sure, let's say you quit at, 3 years after working there, will you still get that money? Or will they take that away? Do you need to work there for 5 years before you get that money? So there's things like that in Brazil, I don't know if that exists, but in the United States it does.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so it's quite different. It's something a lot more technical, a lot more professional. So
Yes, I understand.
okay, good, great. Any other questions?
No, for me that's okay.
Okay, great. So maybe I'll stop sharing again so you can see me again. Tim, do you have a question?
No question. We have
No
to say
question.
you.
Exactly. What I'm basically teaching today is set your own boundaries. Make sure that the job that you are going to have, you enjoy, that you're happy, or at least you're satisfied with the conditions. Don't walk away thinking, great, I'm not going to earn a lot of money. This job is going to be terrible, but it's what it is. No, we don't want that. We need you to stick up for yourself, have confidence, and especially if you're in a professional setting, you've gone to school, you studied this, you're ready for a real job. don't let people take advantage of you, because some people do that, and it's not fair either. So stick up for yourself and enjoy your job, basically. Good. Any other following questions before we leave?
Go to bed, take a rest. See you tomorrow.
All right. I suppose it's pretty late for you, probably. So have a good night, Chin-Yu. Any other final questions before we go? Elle, specifically, because you are in the United States right now?
I what you just said. I think my husband he has he has what he has everything you just said, but the company he have to pay for his insurance, but the company I think the company pay a little, and then he pay a lot. And
There's, things go both ways. It can be that too, that you have to contribute, or that, for example, I know my mom doesn't like the medical, things that they have. So, for example, your contract comes with insurance. Well, that's some medical insurance, some dental insurance, maybe, etc. Well, just because you have dental insurance doesn't mean that you have a really bad problem in your mouth that your insurance will cover it.
yes,
Your insurance will cover certain things, and that's
only the
something you also
cleaning.
have to think about.
I think only cleaning. That's it.
Yep, exactly. Normally it's just a cleaning, maybe, what's that called? A filling every once in a while or something. But, that's something else that you need to take into consideration, especially in the United States, because insurance is
Expensive.
not cheap. Yeah, exactly. It's very expensive.
And medical is so expensive as well.
Even more so, yes. It absolutely is. I can definitely understand that.
Yeah. And the
Good.
money that you just said you call the one you just said the company will deduct
The for
from the from you, and then I think this good for the people who cannot save the money for the end of
retirement.
for the rainy day, yeah, for
For
retirement.
rainy day, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it depends on the company. If the company really makes a lot of money, they want to treat their employees well, and so they will add money to their account. I know that happened to my mom at a previous job that she had. She would make X amount, and they would put half of what she made also
Yeah,
into the account.
yeah,
So
that's
over
good.
time that builds up. But every job is different, and so it
Yeah.
might happen, might not.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
those are some of the questions that you need to go into the interview asking. Do you have packages? Do you do this?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very important, especially in the United States. Again, in other countries, I'm not sure if it exists or not.
Yeah, and then another problem, I think right now most of company they don't like to hire a like a full-time job, because if they hire for a full-time job, they eligible to pay many things, right? If they hire temporary, they don't have to pay you anything.
Right, there are different standards for if you're temporary, part-time, or full-time. Maybe you could be seasonal, which is sometimes temporary. Temporary could be that you're just helping out because maybe a woman went on maternity leave and she's out for 6 weeks, so that's temporary. Seasonal would be, well, the summer's really busy, so we'll hire a lot of people during the summer, but then once fall comes or autumn, they're not going to be working here. And those people know that. So there are many different types of jobs in the United States as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a problem. Very good questions today. Great. Any final questions? Any more? Any more doubts that you might have?
Hello, teacher.
Hello, Chinyu.
What's your plans for the next month?
For the next month, work. That's what I'll be doing for the next month and for the next months and years. All right. Well, we'll stick on the topic of work. Like I said, it is summertime here, but work. People need to learn English, so my job is never done. But any other final questions about this?
So
About
seems
anything?
like American company pensions plan up to the company in America. No national-based pension in America.
For insurance?
Pension after the retirement. Here we have two types of plan. One is national-based pension, and another one company workers pension. So usually company worker belong to company's pension, but self-employee belong to national-based pension.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not old enough to know to worry about that yet.
Okay.
I know there's a pension from work, but I think you only get that from the state because you've worked X amount of years. So that's something I don't think we get it automatically from the state just because you're over a certain age. I don't think you automatically get money.
Okay.
But that would be welfare. So that's something different. Maybe you didn't have a lot of money, you didn't work a lot of hours, so that the government will help you. But that's completely different than working.
This is I think people who discharge from the military, they usually get this kind of
a severance. Yeah, they normally do, but that that could happen in, well, I suppose in any job. No, in the military is a little bit different, but yeah, again, it depends. It's not always just
okay.
at work, but there are other ways to get money.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, very good. Perfect. Well, hopefully you will join me for my next class. I'm just trying to think when is it. I think it is on Tuesday, and we'll be talking about how to make a business presentation. Okay, so we'll talk about different vocabulary words that you need, and we will discuss maybe how, the how-tos. What are the steps? Where do you start? You have to make a presentation. So there's lots of things that we could talk about there too. But for now, our time is up, and I want to say thank you for everyone who came and participated in class. It's always a lot of fun to have people here, and thank you to the viewers as well for watching. Getting my prepositions mixed up here. Okay. Very good. Well, again, thanks for joining, everybody, and I will see you soon. So have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Enjoy.
Bye everyone.
Good. All right.